Mr. President, how's the golf swing? Sir, you know I'm retired. Well, who the hell plans a field trip to a place like that? Alright. I'm in. And sir, I'm gonna need the biggest fucking gun you've got.
You guys know what this movie was missing?
Arm wrestling.
Boobs.
Boobs. And our fucking intro song.
Yeah.
Could you imagine?
Song at the beginning of Robot Jox.
Dude, you got Achilles coming out. He's climbing out of the fucking ground, and you just hear our intro song come on. John Mortis is out there narrating his intro.
That'd be cool.
That's what we need.
I'd have been down with it being in front of Alexander, too. I think it works as a villain theme song, too.
He's
totally
got to be the
would work.
hero, dude.
That's fine. It's fine. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to a new episode of B Action, where we put the B back in action. I am one of your hosts, Charlie. With me, as always, is Dustin. Say hello to the people, Dustin.
Crash and burn, Charlie.
Crash and burn, baby. And next to Dustin on my screen is the man, the Jox, the Silver Fox, Mickey.
It's clobbering time, boys. Let's get her on.
Yeah!
Let's fucking go there, boys.
I was spanking Jox when I was a half your age.
He was doing
fracking Conejo lizards.
Doing what to Jox?
I have no idea what he was.
Cornhole in them.
Cornhole and jock straps, boys. Woo!
Thank God for subtitles and text. That's all I can say about this.
Yeah.
Oh, we are covering my second and final pick for my birthday month.
Wait, Charlie.
What?
Happy birthday, homie.
Oh, he said homie. I thought he was going to say something else.
For me? Yeah. Happy birthday, homeboy. For me? Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I love Don't Be a Menace.
I would have also accepted Wayne doing happy birthday, Mr. President.
Camera one, camera two. Camera one, camera two.
God, love that movie too. Almost as much as I love this week's movie, we are covering a childhood favorite of mine, Robot Jox, from the one and the only Stuart Gordon and Charles Band, back when it was an empire of movies being made. It's so good.
Oh yeah.
So good. Well, I got a trailer, and we're going to hit that because as soon as we start talking about this movie, we're going to forget to play the trailer. So let's knock this bad boy out, and then we're going to jump into some robot goodness.
It's a new age of combat.
Human beings, genetically engineered to be the best fighters in history.
Two champions
It isn't over until someone wins.
at war with each other.
Kill it! I have already killed you.
Two invincible men.
Let's finish it, Alexander, here now.
The ultimate killing machines.
I'm gonna get in this thing, and I'm gonna kick your... The battle's over.
Not for me.
Robot Jox.
so good.
Mickey, how'd you feel about that trailer voice?
It was beautiful. The great Don LaFontaine. Love it.
Always. So fucking good.
And that was the Shout Factory trailer because
Oh.
this got released on Blu-ray. I was gonna play the original, but it was like 2.5 minutes long and not a good trailer voice guy in it. Like barely talked. And then I heard this one and I'm like, fuck yeah, this is the one I'm playing.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So before I jump into my history with this, because it's my birthday pick, I want to get your guys' history with this. Mickey, let's start with you, brother. What's your history with Robot Jox?
Big surprise here. This was my first watch. I had never seen it before.
Don't do it to me again, Mickey.
I mean, last episode was,
That was
understandable why it's a first watch for all of us. But
he didn't see Arena. He hasn't. Mickey,
oh, I see what you
were
mean.
you doing?
I don't know, man. I think I was missing the
watching-
sci-fi stuff because I think my dad was always like martial arts movies and like grounded, gritty cop stuff. And like,
I mean,
Okay.
sci-fi kind of passed us by, other than like Star Wars or something like that, or Star Trek, something big. Like these little ones, I think that I missed them somehow.
Mickey is our Optimus Prime. That's what he was fucking doing, Charlie. He was watching Transformers.
I was definitely watching.
How do you watch Transformers and not watch Robot Jox?
I don't know, and
That's-
we'll get into it later. There's a lot of like anime stuff that I'm down with that this is either influenced by or movies that this influenced later on that I love. So,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I've got some stuff to say about that as well, which will be a nice little conversation. But Dustin, what about you, brother? What's your history with Robot Jox?
Well, believe it or not, Charlie.
Don't you fucking dare. Don't you fucking dare.
No, I am very familiar with this movie. Very stoked to actually have found it because, like Charlie, I own that Empire Blu-ray box set now, and that box set is beautiful.
Yep.
And
Put
this
out my
happened-
arrow. So good.
Yeah, it's oh my god, the transfers on all of these movies, and this was one of the movies I was actually very stoked was in this box set because I remember growing up watching this movie but never knowing the name of it. And all I could say when like in my teens, I would explain this movie to people like, yeah, fucking Hugo Weaving's in this movie. He's the main guy. And learning that it's not Hugo Weaving, I'm like, all right. Dude, Gary Graham he's a solid mix between Hugo Weaving and Billy Bob Thornton. And it's scary as fuck when he turns them both, when he's wearing the fucking, the foreskin helmet, he looks like Billy Bob Thornton.
He's got that fuck. I don't listen to their music, but very like Rolling Stones lead singer.
Mick Jagger.
Yeah, a little bit of Mick Jagger because he's got a very like skeletal face.
He
looks
very thin.
He's got a real like Peter Weller vibe to me, like
yeah,
like especially when his voice is almost synonymous. Like I was like, damn, that's Peter
shaved
Weller.
his head. Yeah, and he could have been RoboCop.
Yeah.
He's straight up Hugo Weaving, dude. Like looking at him without.
I mean, I see it. Yeah.
Oh my god, dude! But no, like I go way back with this movie, and I've been hunting around for it for a long time. The tape of this movie is super expensive, and I absolutely cannot justify spending over $150 on one VHS tape.
Nope,
not happening. But I go way back, and I have a lot to say about it. So, Charlie, let's hear your history, man.
Yeah, before my history, but you're right. I wanted this on tape, and I was never going to pay it. And then when Shout Factory did the initial release of this, that Blu-ray ended up being like $80 to $100 to get a hold of. And that's why I bought that box set from Arrow. I was like, for $70 and I got like 7 movies. That was a bargain. I'm going to do it. And I bought it for Robot Jox. Basically, I was paying $70 for Robot Jox and got a bunch of free movies. And I'm totally down for that.
All the other movies in that box set are fucking bangers, though. So,
oh, dude, you had Arena,
Dungeon Master, Dolls, Cellar Dweller,
and Cellar Dweller. So it's a stacked pack, but you had Robot Jox in it, and that's all I needed to know. But my history with this movie, I remember. I wish I could remember the exact day and date, but I don't. But I remember the day I saw Robot Jox. This was the day we got cable for the first time back home. It actually got ran down our road, which is why we grew up for so long without cable. And Dad was never going to pay satellite dish prices back in the day.
Yeah.
So we got the basic pack of cable. I didn't even have Fox growing up. That's how basic it was. But when we signed up, we got HBO for free for like a week. And the cable guide got done, set us up with the box, and he showed us all the channels. And Dad's like, all right, well, let's see what's going on here. And I'm sitting down and he's flipping through the channels. He goes, well, let's check out this HBO. In Mom's mind, HBO was nothing but naked women running up and down.
I was literally about to ask you if the fucking cable guy like elbowed your dad saying, this is the channel you want to be on.
Yeah, we never even got that one scrambled. That's how basic our cable was. But
man.
So we got all done and Dad's like, well, let's see what's on HBO. This movie, unbeknownst to me, is playing, and it's what I guess is it was about 5, maybe 10 minutes into it, right when I could see the robots. And I saw this on the screen and I set my ass down and went, we're watching this, right? And Dad's like, I don't know what this is. So they left it on for a little bit. It's the middle of the day, so they were pretty sure it wasn't R-rated. And it was Robot Jox. The first time I ever got to watch HBO, the first time we got cable, and the first time I ever watched Robot Jox. And I fell in love with this movie from go. I watched this, immediately went and rented it again because I wasn't sure what I missed. So I was like, Dad, can we go rent it? And, we rented it. Dad loved it. He's like, this is, it reminded him of his like childhood, watching those like the Thunderbirds movies, the puppets, the stop motion stuff, and just being like, holy shit, I've never seen anything like this. Like, it's so well done. And I have grown up with this movie forever, and for the longest time, I could only watch it if it ever popped up on cable or, on some movie channel until Tubi arrived. And it's always on Tubi, except now for some goddamn reason. I don't know why. It's on Prime. But like, I'm like, it's always on Tubi. It should be Tubi, the place you watch Robot Jox. That should be their slogan all the time. But no, this is, if I know I say it a lot, but this is a nostalgic movie for me.
Sure.
This is a big one. And why I picked it for over here, because it totally is a B movie. It is totally, good Lord, it's low budget, but I don't know how you can say it's low budget when you watch this thing. It is so goddamn well done. And I'm still watching it now at 45 going, holy hell, how did you guys do this? Like, how did you do this, knowing who they are, knowing the movies they've put out and some of the quality of the movies that they've done? Like, and this is also, unfortunately, the movie that bankrupted Empire.
Yeah, you say low budget. This movie was a $10 million movie. I mean, money, for Empire, that's a lot of fucking money.
For Empire, it was. For everyone else, they're like, you're doing what with what now? But in this kind of, it did the canon thing to them. They got too big for their britches, but my God, they still got it out. I mean, I know it got bought by I forget what the other company that bought it and finished it.
It was a 2-year later deal. Like, that's when, like, after they finished it. I'll find it. I literally just had the name in the top of my head, but
they got like an infusion of cash and was able to finish it. But good God, dude, this movie is. I think about it all the time. It'll just randomly pop in my head just thinking about these robots. It's influenced, I don't know how many movies we watch now. Mickey made a fucking fantastic video that I'm sure we have shared. If not, it will be out.
Yeah.
But Mickey shared that, and I went, that is what I picture when I watch this particular movie. Because we were all on the same wavelength. But yeah, I could sit here and talk for an hour just myself gushing about without actually ever talking about the movie. But I want to get into this. So Mickey, this being your first time sit down watch, I know you're regretting not watching this at like 11 or 12 years old now.
Yeah, absolutely. Giant robots are awesome no matter how old you are.
Period. Double stamp, triple stamp. Giant robots are awesome.
Again, like, it's hard to believe knowing the kind of things I was watching as a young teenager, or like even like before preteen, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
somehow I don't know how the hell this never ever came across a cable channel or even at like a friend's house. I mean, the people hung out with, this is the stuff we would have watched. It boggles my mind how I missed this, and it could have been something that maybe have been on in the background and I missed it for some reason. But yeah, man, just a lot of things were just like, I was just immediately thinking of like, oh, that's in that movie. Oh, that's in that anime. Oh, that's in that. That's in that. And I was like, a lot of stuff has been influenced by this, and some things influenced this, but
Yes.
like this was, and I looked, and this is kind of like the first time was like in live action, these giant robot fights. You know what I mean? That you
Yeah.
would have seen in Gundam in the 70s and early 80s, and
Yeah.
even just seeing the structures, how big everything was, the sets, like where the robot's kind of sitting underground and then rises up, and I was like, that's straight out of like Gundam, and later on Evangelion.
Pacific Rim.
Yeah, well, I mean, we get there too, right? Like, but I was just thinking about everything in that time period that was.
Oh,
Yeah.
sure.
That was
I
like,
think the closest I knew growing up would be like Mechagodzilla,
right,
and
yeah.
Jet
Yeah.
Jaguar, and
But
yeah.
but this is even on a better level because
yeah,
they
it
have
just goes
moving
up.
pieces that are they transform. They transform
These
basically
things transform.
to different like
And
types. You know what I mean? And
The-
it was just cool.
the best part about that is all of that, what you're talking about, was brought to life by David Allen. David Allen is quintessential Empire / Full Moon. The man is responsible for, when the ghoulies move,
Yeah.
subspecies, all of the stop motion stuff in Ghostbusters 2.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And in this, the stop motion, that's where the money went.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that's why they went
Oh,
bankrupt,
Well,
dude.
so
Is
Absolutely.
without seeing any behind the scenes or anything, knowing anything about that, when I'm watching it, I'm like, this is really like a good mix of. I felt like, obviously, stop motion is involved, but I felt like maybe they put people in suits too for some like close up scenes, possibly.
sure Power Ranger
Um,
style.
Yeah, and then like I don't know if they probably had like smaller sets that they just I don't know. I just
I'm
saw
pretty sure there was man cat.
I saw a
like with
lot of fucking awesome crafts and like effects put into this by people that thought this was badass too, and they wanted it to look
Mhm.
badass.
Yeah, I mean, this is like Star Wars level, like
Yeah.
effects
Oh, yeah.
and model
Even-
making.
I'd say even a little better. Like in my opinion.
There's definitely some stuff like their stop motion.
talking about
It
the
helps
first
it-
Star Wars movie, at least A New Hope,
Yeah, yeah.
at least, yeah.
Yeah, not like Return or anything, but there's like it helps that they're robots, so you can get away with a little bit more with stop motion.
Yeah.
Sure.
But it's like when Athena is climbing out of the launch pit.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like what Mickey said, it almost feels like there's somebody in that fucking suit climbing out of that thing. The way the fingers individually move, the certain flaps open up on the arms. I remember being a kid drawing fucking robots, and it was how many different kind of weapons can we put on these, and where does that weapon come from? And it's all from Robot Jox. That was my influence. That Transformers, which Transformers is the big influence. It was literally Stuart Gordon going, why has no one done this live action yet? Because it's fucking expensive, Stuart. I don't know if
Yeah.
anyone told you that, but it takes a lot of money to transform a robot. And it's not as intricate as what we grew up with Transformers, obviously, but it's still really fucking cool to see on the television screen. I wish I could have seen this in the theater. I mean, I don't even know if it actually went to the theater at the time, but
I don't think so. But what you should do is you should rent one out.
oh, you ain't kidding. Like,
be
we got a
cool.
nice
Rent one
little local one that I
Yeah.
might need to talk to them about Robot Jox night. I
Yeah.
don't even give a shit if I'm the only one in that theater, but I'm gonna have a good time with it. But it's just so much goodness.
What you're feeling and expressing almost didn't happen. Joe Hadelman, the writer of the movie, wanted to write a serious military drama movie.
Mm-hmm.
And Stuart Gordon's like, no, like I want a fucking robot movie. Cause how it was put out was Hadelman wanted to write a movie that kids could watch, that parents would like. But
That was for adults, but kid could watch.
Yeah.
Stewart wanted a movie for kids that adults could watch.
And look at us now. Like, look at Charlie, like 11-year-old Charlie sitting there watching fucking Robot Jox, and Mickey now getting to experience it. And it's the same feeling. And that's the one thing I am stoked about Stuart Gordon doing, because this isn't the first time I've on another movie I've watched where Stuart Gordon and someone on the movie clashed like they did. Because in Pit and the Pendulum, Lance Henriksen was like, I'm not being fucking goofy about this. You know, this is a serious period piece, and I'm going to play it like that. So imagine if we got this, well, we did eventually get the serious robot military movie later in life with Pacific Rim, that this movie laid down the blueprints for.
Yeah.
And well, my gripe in this movie is the same gripe I had in Pacific Rim, is the multiple limb robots. No, I'd rather just.
Why not?
They're cool though.
They're cool, yeah, but
he did it for a reason. The reason he lost to Achilles was he cut his leg.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't that be the next logical thing? Like, oh, you took out one of my legs, I'm bringing out 4 next time.
I don't know,
sense.
man.
Yeah.
It just wasn't my thing. I mean, I'm not saying it's bad. It's just not my thing. I'd rather it just be what it was.
Dude, as a kid seeing that, whenever, you know, they were like, oh, he's just showboating, and that motherfucker spider leg asshole You're just
God damn it. I want Martin Cove. I want Martin Cove in this movie now, piloting one of these fucking Jaegers.
Fuck yeah, dude. I'm down.
Dude, he's got his cigar just out there big chilling, and his arm turns into a rocket launcher, Charlie.
Well, I mean, it kind of had. I mean, we didn't get to see it in use, but it was a goddamn spiked mace in the first fight that was badass.
Just to back up a little bit though, like this movie, I think benefited greatly from them two clashing, and like these two ideas, you know, fighting back and forth, ended up making something that was that, right? Like for kids that adults can enjoy, and for adults, like it felt like that, and it was a really good collaboration. Even if it did, I don't know if it, like, you know, they never worked together again or they're pissed or anything, but like it still worked out well on screen story wise, I think.
I think it is. And it's kind of watching it now, even I'm still kind of shocked, and I'm like, shit, this is a kid's movie. Like when Achilles
it's rated PG.
Yeah, when Achilles falls into the crowd.
Oh man,
like,
that's terrible.
There's gore, there's blood, there's a dead baby on the ground. I'm like, there's
dude.
Everything. And there's nudity in this movie. There's
there's butt,
ass cheeks.
Well,
butt crack.
It's still nudity for a PG movie.
That's fair.
Yeah,
there's some cheeks in it. That's about it.
But yeah,
all right. It was chick cheeks.
You could definitely tell. You could definitely tell where they were trying to go with, like, war is bad, right? And like all these things only make things worse. You know, there's always collateral damage, and innocent people suffer for these reasons.
Yeah.
But
also, how they've also shrunk it down to 1-on-1 for war now too. That was cool.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah, like you have your champion, and you know, if your champion, it's like Mortal Kombat. You know, the Earth Realm lost 9 fucking fights.
Well, it even felt a bit more medieval though too. It was like you picked your best knights.
It was kind of like
like the honor of the kingdom.
Like Game of Thrones would have that, like, trial by combat. Like you pick your champion, and like these two guys go at it. And it's funny that they're named like Achilles, and you know, they have
Alexander.
They have these like warrior names. You know what I'm saying? So it really helped add to that.
Athena, yeah.
Oh yeah, there's so many Greek god influences in this, and then they throw in stuff like, as a kid, never gave a shit about this, but test tube babies, like genetically engineered, you know, jocks, like.
So I want to talk about them. So firstly, as I'm watching this movie last night, Holly's laying on the couch. I'm sitting on the chair. We're just watching it. Well, I'm watching it. She's reading, kind of peeking back and forth, whatever.
You know, I'm married. We understand.
Yeah.
She looks at me and she goes, "Look at her fucking hair." And I'm like, and she, what is a fucking Slater is what she looked like.
Yes.
AC Slater from
Saved by the Bell.
A little bit of that, and a little Billy Blanks.
A little bit.
Just a little bit. But then I pointed out, I'm like, all of them have that haircut.
Yeah.
They all have the same. That's how they identify as the test tube babies. And when that doctor walks up and she goes, can you please give me a little sample of, you're the best champion there. And she walks up to him and fucking big text. Bing. Dude, they're watching these people fight, and Achilles turns around and he goes, yeah, she's a fucking test tube, baby. But she's not hard to look at. I just hear, boo, from my wife.
And he goes on to say, why not just make a direct deposit? And I was like, God damn.
Yeah, can we just skip the middleman and do a direct deposit?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
fuck
Achilles
outta
is
here.
looking at Athena when that gets said too. He's like, I'm not down, I'm not against this.
But that little bit is another thing that made me think of something influenced in the future, which would be the Clone Wars with the clones in Star Wars. Like they made all these test tube warriors that all look exactly the same, and they are exactly the same and trained for one single purpose. So that was something else. I was like, dude, that's like
I went to Soldier with Kurt Russell.
That same thing.
You know, when they had the genetically modified, fighters, but they were raised from children, which I'm guessing is kind of what this is. These weren't like hyper aged. They've been growing them for a while. But yeah, as an adult, you're now watching. Now I see the adult stuff. As a kid, I don't know. They handed them little tiny cups. I don't know what we're all laughing at. I don't know why there's this divisiveness between these people, other than they seem cocky. But I was just, honestly, if you're going to replace Gary Graham in this, I want Jeff Speakman to be the Jox in there, because that whole training segment, all I could hear was, I got the power, as he's kicking everybody around.
I read in the
think
trivia.
David Allen could keep up with Jeff Speakman's
no.
movements and the stop motion of those robots, dude. Could you imagine the robot doing the fucking stick fight?
No.
Robot sticks.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know how true it is, but if you read the IMDb trivia, they almost cast Jean-Claude Van Damme in that role.
Jean-Claude was close.
I saw that.
Achilles
Would not have been the same. I don't think I would have liked it.
Alexander,
because
your time is up, you son of a bitch.
I don't think it would have been a good choice. I think Graham was great. And I think Graham was great because he was really good at skirting the line between this really arrogant douchebag, toxic masculinity, but also he was not a bad guy. There was things where you're like, this is really a decent guy. Maybe he's just raised in this culture, right? With Tex obviously being his mentor or whatever.
Well, and it's not just that. It's Robot Jox, they fight, they die.
Right.
This is his 10th fight. So in reality, he's earned the arrarrogance. I feel.
Yeah. Definitely.
It's
I agree.
This is number 10. And they're like, we're going to put you up against this fucking guy, to win Alaska.
Hey, big deal.
It is, man.
That's where all the Eskimos live.
They never say it. But I mean, we assume Alexander was Russian, right?
This one skirts that line, and it's so funny. We just did Rambo 3 over at
right.
The Action Elite, and so we were talking about that, this one didn't age well. And I'm watching this going, I'm pretty sure Alexander's Russian. I'm pretty sure. It's probably why they went, we can't have Jean-Claude, who also can't speak English very well, fighting Alexander, who's faking an accent not very well.
Dude, I want fucking Jean-Claude and M. Bison. Just being
in robots, in giant robots.
And the robots. But the robot for M. Bison has the little hat.
Yes.
The captain
and a cape. Yes, has a cape too.
It has to have the cape, yeah. But fuck, I lost my train of thought because I'm thinking of Jean-Claude.
You're everywhere at this. But no, these and the designs of just the look of these robots, while they are influenced by things like, Gundam and Transformers, they're still unique.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Which I always
they're their own have their own characteristics.
Yeah, sure. Their own characteristics, which is something. It's Del Toro, right? That did
Pacific Rim. Yeah.
It's something like what Del Toro was able to do with later movies like Pacific Rim, where each robot was almost like its own individual character, even without the pilots, the Jaegers. They all had you had the Russian robot in Pacific Rim.
What's his name? Was it Chernobyl? Was his name or some shit?
Chernobyl. You had the Japanese one that was like the two heads,
the three arms. He was the triplets.
Arms.
That's the one I complained about. Multiple limbs, no fucking reason.
Well, it worked. They took out
it didn't.
They took a lot of kaiju out.
They died, Charlie.
when they had to get stronger kaiju to fight them. It's not their fault.
Oh, okay. The kaiju evolved, not the technology, I guess.
Yeah.
But I mean, you look at that movie now and watch, Robot Jox, and you're like, fucking Del Toro had to love this movie.
Yeah.
Like not only the anime, and this is where I want to get with Mickey here, because I think we're going to be two sides of a coin here. I love these movies and I love giant robots. I don't watch anime. I never got into it. For some reason.
To my side of the coin, Charlie.
Okay. But I could tell in what Mickey was getting ready to say is, what's that, Mickey?
Oh, well, I was saying, like, you can tell, I mean, I already kind of said it, but there's a lot of influence from anime and manga that they were using. And they started with Transformers, which, I mean, was originally Japanese, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they took pieces of things and I don't feel like they appropriated it or like, I don't know. What am I trying to say? Copy it. They didn't do anything like that. They made
bastardize it.
They made their own thing out of it, but they pulled a lot of inspiration from a lot of different things. And then they kind of made some things their own too that, like we already said, would later go on to inspire other directors, obviously now. And, you just mentioned Del Toro. I'd love to ask George Lucas if he got his idea for the clone army from this, because that's legit. They all look the same. They all have the same haircut as the clones in Star Wars, the Clone Wars. They all have the same skin color. Like, it's like crazy. But
yeah,
Boba Fett's over there.
Yeah, and then giant robots and kaiju in general have always been part of anime and Japanese culture. It's just kind of their thing, and like, I don't know. It translates really well over to America too, but in a different way. For them, I feel like it has a lot of different meanings than what we have it as, just like badass entertainment, awesome fun.
Yeah, they usually have something underlying with their stories. But I've always just thought it's just so weird with me is I've tried multiple times to get into anime, and I try to not get into the weird shit that's out there. Yeah. I try to get in the stuff that's in my lane, like, Gundam, or, I did really, really enjoy Vampire Hunter D. I landed on that one out of some random ass playing on cable one day, and I went, this is fucking great. But I never went back. And now I still I grew up watching Godzilla, and I still are like, I just want Godzilla movies. I just want Robot Jox for some reason. I still can't connect to anime.
They all, or at least like the main ones, like the shonen ones, all have the same story, really, which is you have this hero who is like usually not as strong as everyone else, is kind of weak, but is very determined, is very like stubborn, and like, I can be the best if I keep training and I, work hard. And eventually they do, right? They find some great power, some great weapon or something.
It's the hero's journey.
And then all these people who kind of took what they had for granted and were like, a little too arrogant with it because they've always just been good at it. This guy that's been working really hard behind the scenes all of a sudden gets what you have, and he just skyrockets you. Like, and how the hell did that guy do that? Well, he was humble and he was working hard, and now he's better than you. So that's just kind of how a lot of the main animes are, in my opinion. But I have fun with them because they remind me of superhero stories, and I love superhero stories. So, and comic books, so they kind of.
And again, I grew up with that stuff. I just don't know what it was. I don't know if it was a lack of having access to it, which probably has a lot to do with it. Like, it was hen's teeth. You couldn't find that stuff where I grew up. My comic book stores weren't carrying it. I didn't know they were tiny little comic books half the time till I got into the big city and I was older. And by that time, I was like, I don't have time to deal with this.
Yeah.
But country boy in a big city.
That's a big old building right there.
Yeah. But with me growing up I don't do anime one bit. And I'm lying. Closest to anime I'll watch, and it's a cartoon, and I'll fight anyone to this day, is The Last Airbender.
Right.
Oh, that's fair.
Very anime inspired,
Anime inspired. Yeah. I tried, just went to Japan, and Universal over there, it's like they're buddy with a bunch of other types of anime. They have a Chainsaw Man shit, and I have a lot of friends who are like, you would really like it. I tried it. I got one episode, and I'm like, this isn't for me.
I love Chainsaw Man.
I like the concept. I like the monsters, but I just can't pay attention to it.
Yeah,
I get that.
That's me.
It can be weird. I mean, just honestly, like you have to totally immerse yourself in it and just kind of like just accept, because their culture is totally fucking different, and there's some weird shit, and it's like I'm just gonna accept this. And usually, what happens is the story shines through for me, right? Like all that other stuff just becomes,
Mickey goes
decoration on the wall. But like the story will shine. I was like, oh man, I really love this character's arc. I love where they're going, what they're doing, ups and downs. So a lot of times it's the story that shines through for me. And back then I had watched some anime movies, and if you guys, Charlie, I feel like you would watch like Voltron, right?
Yeah.
And Speed Racer and Ronin Warriors and all those things were kind of anime, and they were anime technically, and brought over here.
I was gonna say technically,
and they were dubbed for us as Saturday morning cartoons. So like, we were getting it. It was getting pumped into our veins back then.
There was just no name for it. I mean, it was like, I think it was like 3 or 4 years ago before I ever watched like Akira, which is,
I love that movie.
One of the quintessential ones. And let me tell you, while the story's weird as fuck, what really got me was the animation.
Yeah.
Like I was just like, they were drawing like this back then?
Yeah, man.
Like, holy shit.
You cannot match the cell, the pencil drawing, the ink drawing.
No.
As, everything is computer generated now and digitally
2D
done.
animation.
But like Akira, just beautiful. And the soundtrack, I want to go off on everything else here, but the soundtrack of that movie is great too. But there was just, it's an iconic one. It's something that has inspired a lot of other stuff and directors moving forward. So,
but for some reason, I'm stuck on what we had in America, which is giant robots fighting giant robots, and we're going to kick each other's ass, because that's what Robot Jox is.
Because Mickey brought up character arcs. You know who had a good one? Achilles.
He did,
because I love the remorse that he feels in this, man, because he tried to do something heroic by blocking the claw to fucking trying to that Alexander shot by accident. After the Hamburglers told him that he couldn't use projectiles. That you can't fucking tell me their referee suits did not look like the goddamn Hamburglar, dude.
Yeah, they did.
And it's a onesie. It's like a fucking racetrack suit, dude. It's great. But
good.
He tries to block the claw from doing damage to the stand, but inadvertently getting knocked over and crushing more than what the claw would have crushed.
Yeah, it did a lot more damage than would have been done.
Yeah, so I feel like his remorse, like, because he leaves. Like, he's like, I'm fucking done. That was technically, that was 10. I fulfilled my contract. They're like, you're full of shit. He goes, later. And leaves because he technically fulfilled his contract.
Yeah.
And that puts a bad taste in everyone's mouth, not only because he crushed these spectators, but because he is essentially chickening out of this last final fight.
And he was the people's hero.
Yeah.
Like, there's a
He
lot
was
of
the
parallels.
Cody Rhodes of the fucking.
Well, when I watch this, I'm even seeing like parallels to the Running Man. They're taking bets on this game. They have their favorite, fighters and teams that they get. Did you see the nice little cameo?
Oh, you mean Jeffrey Combs just showing up again
with a fake beard? I was like, did you just paint a beard on Jeffrey Combs?
What's wild is he's not listed. Like, it's an uncredited
he's
role.
Uncredited, yeah.
But he's in the Arrow Blu-ray. His name fucking pops up in the opening credits. I'm like, how was he unlisted if they tell me he's in this?
They're like, at this point, we need everyone to be on here.
Yeah.
It was another thing. Like, Sato is in this movie. The guy from Karate Kid Part 2.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I fucking love him in this movie. There's twists. There's espionage.
There's a whodunit, yeah.
Yeah, there's like all this extra stuff.
And I know you guys saw it when you were younger, but for me, I was like, there's no fucking way. It's, spoilers. It's fucking Tex. Like, it's the American yeehaw motherfucker that's like working with the Confederate Russians.
Yeah, Confederate.
Dude.
How's that work?
These colors don't run, Russia.
So that took me by
red.
surprise. I was
That's
like,
what I'm saying.
I know it was meant to do that, but I was like, oh shit, I didn't expect to.
Even as a kid, because Texas, Tex. That's America. You're supposed to be like
Oh,
rooting for this guy. He's also the previous champion.
Yeah.
He's been holding these guys, fighting these guys for years, and he had like the highlight shot everyone talks about, the shot heard round the world of taking out that one, and that's how he won the battle. And you're like, there's moles, there's espionage. They knew what the green laser was. Like, bro, I'm sorry, that green laser was bullshit. If they could figure out how to fight it immediately.
I love like all the controllers in these Robot Jox. Looks like my Grammy's remote control for her TV.
Yeah.
There is a picture, like a cutout sun of that's the Mega Beam.
They had
Press that one.
origami on their fucking like
Dude.
decks, whatever.
Like
Dude.
my Grammy would have stickers that would say like on or shit like that for them to fucking control in these Robot Jox, dude.
Even at 11 or 12, this is, and I this is funny because the exact same thing happened to Anthony later, and this fits. So yeah, so we find out Sato, he's like the Q of the Robot Jox. He makes these cool ass weapons, but the Confederates keep finding out what the weapon is, and they have a countermeasure for it. So there's a mole, and and Tex and Sato are, and his name's not Sato in the movie, but I don't remember what it is. But so they're trying to figure out how to get this next big weapon to work, and they do, and it is literally blinding magnesium light that will blind your opponent for 90 whole seconds and give you the upper hand. This chick hits the yellow sun button.
The sun button.
Blinds Alexander for approximately 5 seconds, and immediately he jumps on top of her and starts beating the shit out of the robot. When I'm sitting there as a kid going, I thought this was like the ultimate weapon. Why didn't she fire rockets? Why didn't she do this? Here's the parallel, boys, and I will forever remember this. When Pacific Rim came out, I'm watching it with my oldest, Anthony, because he loved giant robots and monsters. We are watching that movie, and you see these Jaegers fighting it out, killing these robots. Like, yeah, you get to that end fight where he's like fighting off this thing, and he pulls out the chain sword and cuts the fucking head off. Anthony, no shit, at like 11 or 12 years old, turns around, looks at me, and he goes, why didn't he do that first? And I went, I don't know, son. Why didn't the Power Rangers all jump into the giant Zord before the monster grew big, son? I don't know, but welcome to my side.
Drama.
Okay.
You can hit him with a Pete.
Yeah.
Just hit him with a Pete logic. There would be no movie.
There would be no movie if we did that. But at 11 years old, I went, that was bullshit.
But we learned that Tex is the mole, right?
Yeah.
And, Sato's sitting there's like, there's a reason I didn't invite you to the fucking briefing is because I know you are the mole. And he goes, oh, yeah? Give me that gun. Because Sato has a gun pulled on him, and he goes, he Seagulls him.
Yeah.
Takes his gun, dude, and he sits there and gives him this big villain monologue, which I think is awesome.
It's awesome. And Sato records it unbeknownst to Tex.
We find out later because I would say Athena, not Artemis. She
some Greek shit.
Yeah, she's playing back the instructional video from Sato, to explaining, hey, here's how you actually do this shit. And they already have their suspicion of Tex at that point.
Yeah.
Right? And then they're like, guards, hold him for fucking murder.
I love this.
And then the video plays. And they're all watching this video, and they're like, oh my God, and look over at him. It's haunting. It was haunting then, and it's haunting now. When Tex jumps out of the window or wherever he is, where he's X amount of stories high.
Yeah, he jumps down the
hole,
silo.
whatever
where the Jox was.
Whatever that door is that's open, and you hear him yell Geronimo.
Yeah.
You hear the echo even after he splats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His echo is still ringing, and that is so haunting.
That dude, the coldest part of this interaction is they're in the middle of watching that, and Achilles turns to look at Tex like, you motherfucker, you killed Sato? And he's like, yeah, keep watching and you'll see it. And literally tells them to watch as he pulls the trigger and kills Sato on there. And they show it when it first happened.
Oh, yeah.
And a kid, like, there's a huge blood spray.
When did this come out? 1980, 89?
I think. It was 86.
Oh, so before the MPAA.
Yeah, I think this one skirted it, or they just didn't give a shit about them.
No,
kids.
because 84 was Ghostbusters. And that's what 84 was Ghostbusters and Gremlins is the reason we got PG-13.
Yeah, this one just straight up, they went, fuck them kids.
All right, there we go.
Yeah.
But I also really fucking dig because Athena and the test tube babies are all bred to be excellent.
Yeah.
Right? All bred to be the best top-notch athletes / whatever soldiers they're bred to be. They don't believe in luck. No. And Achilles gives her a shirt, I guess, that he's worn for 10
It's a
10
scarf.
matches.
It's a scarf.
It's a scarf.
All the pilots have a scarf. Tex has one. Achilles has one.
Yeah. So he passes his on to her. He goes, "It's for good luck." She goes, "I don't know what the fuck luck means." Dude,
he's like, "It's a goddamn gift, lady. Fucking take it." Jesus.
It's a gesture, and I love the turnaround on this because later when Achilles comes back, she goes, "I have a gift for you too. Close your eyes." And starts zipping her fucking jacket and pulls out the alien gun from fucking Arena. And she goes, pew, pew, pew. Or it's a shot. It's like a shot, right? Like she
tranquilizer,
yeah.
Oh my god, dude, and he's still fucking up and about.
He's fighting that shit.
He's up and about.
Yeah, he was fighting through it. Yeah,
and she knocks him out. That's how that's how he goes down. But I love that she goes, "Guess what? I have a surprise for you too, Mister."
Is that a gun in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me?
Yeah. What's that?
That gun is sticking into my
What's
hip.
that? God damn it, Mickey.
There's another scene in this movie.
What's that third hump in your shirt?
One what is the only hump in her shirt? I'm sorry. But there was nothing. just flat.
But 11-year-old Charlie was still satisfied, so it doesn't matter.
I was okay with it. I got some butt. There is one of the absolute most accurate depictions of an 80s and 90s activity that has ever been put onto celluloid. And that is essentially King of the fucking monkey bars in this scene where they have to climb the monkey bars of doom to crawl out of a hole.
The Aggro Crag.
I had flashbacks to elementary school on that goddamn castle-looking monkey bar thing we would climb, and we're beating the shit out of each other playing King of the Hill, and this one has like oil squirting out. Well, that was Timmy. He pissed on that rung. Don't touch it. The other one's
outside where it's fucking scorching, dude.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's red hot, which means that's the side facing the sun. And you get to the top, and you and Tommy are like, only one of us are gonna live through this. And you fucking kick Tommy 300 style, and he falls to his paralytic death at the bottom. And you're just like, did that guy die? Like, you never see him in the movie again.
You don't.
But I was like, that was the 80s. You want to know what playgrounds were like? Watch Robot Jox and the Monkey Bars of Doom.
True.
That was how we lived.
But yeah, so
and we didn't have that bullshit rubber, whatever, like mulch.
Yeah.
We had gravel. We had gravel,
concrete, baby.
The asphalt, shredded up tires.
Yeah. We didn't have that shit. You're welcome, new generation.
They were. Charlie was the test tube babies when it came to the 80s.
Tommy died for that legislation to get put through.
Oh, when that fucking comeback when she goes, "Oh, I took all your clothes off just to study you," and he goes, "Really? Everything?" And she goes, "Well, I'm sorry that you're not, peak physical, whatever, or I'm sorry that you're here." And he goes, "Yeah, that's what a lot of dads say." Dude, I'm like, oh my god, man, like this fucking asshole, dude.
Well, Well, he's like covering up, and then he finds out she's stared at it all night. And there's this like moment he even's like, "Why am I covering up?" Like it still
dude,
feels weird now.
And he wakes up and he goes, "I'm sorry, but is there something that I should remember?" Dude. Oh, and that's fucking like when he's at the bar, like that's Stuart Gordon serving him drinks.
Is it?
It is.
That is Stuart Gordon.
Okay.
Is this bar not fucked up, guys? Did no one else think it's weird that warring factions are having drinks together at the end of the day?
That's the 80s.
I think that's like the Continental. You know what I mean? That's neutral ground.
Neutral ground.
That's neutral ground. But they end up fighting anyways because you got one of the clones that think his fucking dick's too big. He goes up to
I challenge you, Alexander.
And he grabs him. And Alexander hits him with his wrist, and he goes, "You fucking touched me."
He hits him with the test of strength from like pro wrestling, where they put their hands up like, "Let's go."
Oh yeah, they fucking lock up, dude.
He bends his wrist all the way back, and he's like, "Ah!"
he just does the Seagal like arm lock thing, you know?
God,
where you're like,
dude.
Jesus.
Can I laugh in your face?
but so after Athena like tranks Achilles, like she ends up getting into the suit for the final fight.
Yeah,
which is pretty cool.
They're like Achilles, you need it. And knowing her name's not fucking Achilles, so she's not going to answer.
No,
that's the logic I had.
She has her visor down. Doesn't one of the dudes like slap her on the ass?
Yes.
Like, good job, Achilles.
Yes.
And she like reacts.
That's what got her in
badly.
trouble. That guy's like,
Yeah.
"You're not Achilles."
Yeah, wait a minute, it's not firm.
That's not his ass.
I know Achilles' ass. That is not America's ass, sir.
Alaska's ass, yeah.
Not Alaska's ass.
Dude. But I love it because Achilles comes running in his fucking condom suit, and he's like, "All right, let's fucking fight this guy, Alexander." And then he's piloting her, like he's her man in the chair.
He's Tex now. He's assumed that role,
which I dig because that's the end of his arc. Is because he's started as just this fucking fighter, had the arrogance of the 10-fight fighter, and now he's sitting there teaching someone who he didn't even believe in. The reason he came back to fight, he's mentoring this girl, which is tight. Then she gets her shit rocked. And then he comes out there in his fucking Ford Pinto or whatever that Mickey, what kind of space car was that?
That was a I don't know.
That was a Chevy Chevette.
I can tell you what it wasn't. It wasn't Rolling Vengeance.
No, it wasn't.
Dude, did you see when they first show that car and he gets to the apartment where he is going to live, and he pulls out the goddamn giant remote control, pulls up the antenna, and closes the door from outside? I'm like, dude, just close the fucking door yourself. You don't need that remote.
He had the money, Charlie? He had the money.
I feel like, I can't remember now, man. When we were watching Doll Man, didn't they drive cars like that?
Very similar.
I don't remember.
Did they hover or did they have wheels? I can't remember. But
they had wheels. They drove.
Shit. I wanted to.
They had wheels.
All of a sudden, I was like, "This is in the same universe." That was my headcanon.
It got real close to the similar to the vehicles of like Hands of Steel. If they had actually,
that's true.
Like float. I always looked at it as like from like Last Starfighter. You know, whenever you had the dude that drove that car.
Yeah.
But yeah. Before you get to that, though, Dustin, I still watch this movie going, how is he killing her? Like when he gets over and he does the Iron Man Hulkbuster armor move.
Go to sleep.
But it much slower. It's like,
yeah. That's the point, Mickey. They're killing her. Oh God! And all she's doing is being jostled. Back and forth in the mech.
That's a big ass robot doing that to you.
Yeah, I mean, the beginning kill makes sense because he steps on the cockpit.
That dude, yeah.
But in this one,
is like paddle ball.
He hasn't even whipped out his best weapon.
Oh, yet. I don't know, Charlie. Now thinking about it, since you said that, man, it's like. Imagine the pressure, like the pounds behind that fucking.
Oh yeah,
that doesn't matter. Floating harness, like,
but you're fragile. You're gonna snap your neck, dude. Like I feel like that's what'll happen.
Yeah, it'd give you some pretty bad whiplash.
I feel like that'll snap your neck.
That's fine, but I've been to heavy metal concerts. I've gotten
Yeah, I
whiplash
think
in
what'll
three
happen
days.
is that he takes the leg of the Jaeger and like cracks it, and then you see her in the cockpit go
They need that.
like her leg.
They need that.
Whatever, Charlie.
They need that Hans device. R.I.P. Dale Earnhardt.
You ain't
There you
right. That's exactly it.
Yeah, raise hail, praise Dale, baby.
Woo woo. But yeah, so Achilles comes out, and because Alexander's figured out, like, oh fuck, I'm not fighting Achilles.
Oh
This
yeah,
fight
dude,
ain't shit.
he sees that chin.
Well,
Yeah.
right, is that right before that? He steps on the fucking referees, right? Or at least their little.
Yeah,
they're like,
It's-
okay, you're done.
it's
She's
during
done.
This,
Yeah. She's out. She's out, and he's like, "Fuck you!"
Because
like,
they were like,
well,
the Confederate won. They were like, you have Alaska now.
yeah,
They
Like,
still think it's Achilles though. At the point,
That's
they're
true.
Like, yeah.
well, see,
or
the
at least
the-
he does. The refs know at the
refs
beginning.
knew because they're
Yeah.
like, look, your
Oh, that's right.
Jox
That's right.
is out here.
they're like, "Sorry."
We don't care.
Yeah,
Fight's engaged. But Alexander can see through the cockpit and he realizes it's not Achilles.
This little
And he's-
bitty fucking figure of a person that he's sitting there just
Yeah,
pulls out the binoculars, dude.
that'd have been awesome.
He's got the
Jack's-
scope.
Jack Sparrow, that shit with a
Yeah,
giant
dude.
fucking telescope.
He's,
But yeah, Achilles comes in, he jumps in that. I mean, as a kid, you giggle, but he gets in there. All right, Alexander, I'm going to kick your ass.
That's
And
awesome.
I'm like, this is getting ready to get
I
good.
love it. Yeah,
And God
you
damn
just
it.
hear, you hear, you tell him 2 hits.
Some
One,
licensed heavy metal would have been awesome.
you tell him 2 hits. 1, I hit you, your dick hitting the ground, and 2 is Kid Rock's ball with the ball.
But he gets into this thing and they get Athena out. The refs take off. The Confederate loses at
Hamburglers.
this point. They have lost Alaska. But now this is just the fight between 2 giants, basically. Dude, this
Ego fights, yeah.
this is the greatest of greatest when it comes to 80s giant robots
Hell yeah.
fighting. This had everything. And when fucking Alexander literally whips his dick out at Achilles with a chainsaw dong.
That was awesome.
Yes.
Say
I am
hello
a
to my little
robot!
friend. Dude, I was
Like-
like, I was like surprised that it even went to damn space. I was like, when they
Yeah,
started
when he
taking off, I was like, oh,
transformed-
they're gonna just fly up real high and move. Nah,
Were you guys
were in orbit.
expecting to see Ivan Ooze and the Transformer or the fucking Power Zord up there?
It was still too early for Power
Yeah,
Rangers.
yeah.
Oh, well, that's true. Yeah. All right. Never mind.
No. But I also read, like, and I never put this together as a kid. This is the most accurate battle depiction in space because
Yeah.
explosions don't have sound.
none of the explosions
In
made any
space.
noise. Yeah,
So yeah, it's dead silent. Now inside the cockpit, shit's
Right,
going
right, right.
nuts, and that's fine. But these robots went to space in their first movie. Like that usually takes at least 3 or 4 movies before
That's why it was
robots
so
got to
expensive.
space.
and then
It was cool.
it was cool. And then Achilles just like face plants into the ground when he lands, and it was hilarious. But finally, okay, so this whole movie from the first fight, I noticed the tracks on the back of the leg, and I was like, if that some bitch doesn't use those things, I'm gonna be real
I'm
pissed,
mad.
right? Finally, this dude transforms into a damn battle tank, and I was like, fuck yes! And he takes
Yeah.
off, and he's zigzagging. So I know he ain't going very fast, but he still can't shoot him.
It's Eddie Murphy in Trading Places.
Yeah.
I ain't got no legs. I ain't got no legs.
yeah.
I just kept singing Tiny Tank, Tiny Tank. Here comes Tiny Tank. Because that's what it just looks like some guy sitting down.
Serpentine,
and scooting
serpentine.
across-
And that's not the only time he does that in this fight, because when he gets out of the cockpit, it's like him running from a fucking alligator, like when he's trying to get from point A to point B.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Achilles?
zigzag.
I'm like, dude, what the fuck are you out running like that when these things can take a step and get to you?
Well, not to-
Granted, the guns don't move; they're just fucking, looking like fembot nipples.
Turn your chest, Alexander. Turn it.
Yeah.
Work it, baby.
Yeah,
Back and forth.
Working,
I'm
baby.
too sexy for my jocks. Too sexy for my jocks. But how awesome is it that they went all the way to space, but crash landed exactly back onto the battlefield where they were? to
I was like,
begin
hold on.
with?
That some bitch went on the other side of the planet.
Yeah, there's trajectories, there's geometry involved. Like, how did you do that? Because he lands, and then there's Alexander's arm, his fist, laying out in the middle of the desert. And you're like, oh shit! I know what's getting ready to happen.
We've seen it before.
They built a set for Graham to get into. Like, he's in the back of this thing. It may not have been the full fist, full size, but at least the back half with all the gribbles and D-dods and everything that he can. In the 80s and 90s, there's not a kid on the planet that didn't think, A, I can hotwire a car, or B, I can hotwire a door or a robot like they do in Star Wars and Robot Jox just by twisting wires together. Okay? If I twist enough wires together, I can make this work. And that's what this looks like, too. Watching it yesterday going, just grab every wire and twist it together. Like, he's testing 2, that light turned on, then he added another one. Okay, one of those is the battery. We're good. Okay, light all of the LEDs. How do you know which one fires the goddamn fist? I don't care.
It has a little claw picture on it.
Yeah.
It's what it is. There's a little joystick back there that has a little fucking claw.
The tech guys had labeled the wires because they're like, if I have to reattach another goddamn hand without us labeling these wires, I'm going to kill someone.
It's like somebody, like, that's the first time they did it, and somebody on Alexander's team thought he did his team a solid.
Yeah, exactly.
By doing that, but in reality, he fucked them all over, dude.
He screwed Alexander. Oh yeah, he fires this fist, man, right at Alexander's chest. It's a weak chest. Like, it blows up the robot, man. It is pretty spectacular. I mean, these explosions are cool. Like, the shit's just blowing up and sparks and flames, and all this stuff is happening miniature scale or even large scale. It looks amazing. And this is like a 2K rip we got on our Blu-rays.
Yeah.
This is gorgeous. And then now it's fuck the robots. It's mono, man. And this is... He fucks up Alexander's arm. His Jox had a fucked up arm, so it's right back even where it's one armed guy fighting someone who's, maybe not his equal, but pretty close. But this, like, stick fight metal thing happens, and it's amazing. And then we get to the part of Robot Jox where, even as a kid, I went, what the fuck?
If you can change... And they can change.
Reconcile.
Well,
I'm going.
There's a reason why.
Killed 9 of your friends to get to you, sir. He tried to kill the refs before he tried to kill Athena. Nah, bro. We crash and burn, baby. And that's just shake and bake.
Yes. So, you were talking about your wife earlier, and mine walked in at this part, and she was like, what the hell are you watching? And I was kind of like told her real quick summary, right? And Achilles is sitting there, he's like, you can live. And Alexander's like, I can if I kill you. And then Achilles is like, no, not if we both stop fighting, or something like that, right? And Alexander says, no, we're Robot Jox. And she's like, he said the thing. And I was like, yeah, he did say that.
He said their name.
And she was like, oh my God. And she just walked out. And I was like, okay.
Well, the reason why they reconcile like that, because apparently there was a sequel already lined up, ready to rip.
Yeah.
And that was the 2 of them taking on a fucking invasion from space. That would have been dope. Jox,
which would have been awesome.
Yeah.
There is it's not a sequel, kind of a sequel. So Crash and Burn, which came out many years later, like early 90s, got released in England as Robot Jox 2, Crash and Burn.
Robot Jox 2, Shadow Warriors,
It's basically that. But it's also, like, it's not even really Robot Jox, but I'm like, you use the catchphrase from Robot Jox. Like, obviously you tried to do it. And then a movie that will be covered later this month on another show isn't tied to this universe, but it also has Sato in it. But we're doing Robot Wars later, and get ready for that treat. So yeah, it's like they did multiple robot movies, but never a Robot Jox 2. Like, damn, I wish I'd have got a sequel to this.
Pacific Rim. I mean,
I had to wait
Spiritual.
30 goddamn years.
it
Yeah.
was well worth it though, dude. It fucking
I mean,
ruled.
it was. And, like I said, there's tons of themes and homages to this, and this blazed some ground.
Mhm.
This showed people, oh, we can do this. We could put giant robots on TV. I mean, honestly, think about it. Because of this, someone went, we can put giant dinosaurs on on the movies, and we get Jurassic Park and stuff like that. Bigger and better.
Yeah.
Someone just had to blaze that trail, and they do it with Robot Jox. And that's why it still holds up so well to me. And it still is a completely enjoyable and I think well done movie. Like, this movie deserves a better critic review about it than it actually has. Like, take it for what it was able to do with so little and so early on in Hollywood and stuff. Like, Ray Harryhausen blazed the trail for stop motion and stuff like that, but this one took it to that next, like, fucking, not even the next level, that fucking next stratosphere
Yeah.
of
Without
giant
David
robots.
Allen, we wouldn't have Leica Studios.
Yeah, no.
Like the inspiration. But you brought up, I don't want to divert too much, but you brought up
No,
Jurassic
you're
Park. Jurassic Park almost wasn't Stan Winston.
Yeah.
No CGI. It was all Phil Tippett at one point.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine the fucking stop motion dinosaurs?
It would have been amazing.
It would have been great. I think what we got is great as well. It's revolutionary, but
It was revolutionary, groundbreaking. And it was also because, you know what? I had seen that before, though. If you'd ever grown up watching, like, Baby, the little dinosaur movie.
Prehysteria.
We
Carnosaur.
Carnosaur was a goddamn puppet. It's just rah, 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 rah.
Yeah.
But Jurassic Park needed to be that next jump. Jurassic Park is kind of like the Robot Jox when it comes to giant robot movies. It was that next level jump, that evolution that, and then it took forever for anyone to actually, I'm going to say, equal it, because I love Pacific Rim, but hell, I'll still throw Robot Jox in and still be in, because like now you're like, oh, a computer can do it. Cool. All right. That's awesome. We're going to put 27 robots on it. Like, I'm not a huge fan of Pacific Rim Rising. Like, I watched it.
Not either.
I watched it to see the robots and the kaiju. Like, what did you do new?
It's not Guillermo del Toro, so it wasn't the same. Like, it didn't have the same vibe.
No, it didn't. Like,
not at all.
Should have stopped at the first one and been done with it.
Yeah.
But
comic books is where
there's been so many that never even attempted to do what Robot Jox did, back in the 80s/90 when this actually came out. But
then it bankrupted a whole film company.
And because of that, we got Full Moon. So happy ending still.
Yeah.
So we're gonna give it praise where it deserves. All right, I think we get into the things, boys. Let's pick our favorite kill.
The boss says we're dealing with John Mortis.
Really? I heard he beat a guy to death with a toilet seat.
What? No way.
It's true. They also said he killed a man with a soft pretzel. Whoa! I don't even know which one of those sounds cooler.
It's definitely the pretzel.
We need rubber John Mortis pretzels to give out as merch. It's definitely the pretzel.
Yeah, that is what we need.
Somebody get on Temu.
Yeah.
There's got to be some factory cranking out rubber pretzels.
There's got to be dog toys.
Yeah, give me a rubber pretzel dog toy. Your dog will love our John Mortis pretzels. They're the great. He'll never put it down. All right,
someone get a hold of Spencer's quick.
Let's do this. Let's get on it. All right, Mickey, let's start with you. This is the first time watch. What's your favorite kill in Robot Jox?
I'm keep it kind of simple here, but like it's the very first one in the movie, where Alexander has won this battle and he's calling for Achilles, right? And the other pilot that he's defeated is saying, I give up, I yield, right? And everybody's like, all right, you win. And this guy is just like fuck you. He just like stomps his cockpit and kills him. And it set the tone for me for the movie because I was like, oh shit, like it's gonna be like this, huh? This guy is ruthless. This guy don't give a shit. And this Achilles guy must be pretty badass. And if this guy wants a piece. So I really like that. I liked how it set the tone for the whole movie for me, and it was pretty cool at the same time.
Nice. I can't argue with that. Dustin, what's your favorite kill of Robot Jox?
Oh man, mine has to be the crowd when Achilles falls on the stands of people.
Yeah.
And it's because it plays into his arc. You know, he was trying to do something very heroic, but at the end of the day, caused more damage. And then, like Charlie said, there's this lady screaming, holding her baby, looking up at the fucking robot. Why Achilles?
Achilles!
You know? Yeah. So yes, it has to be the stand full of people.
Yeah. Okay.
Charlie, what about you?
I'm taking Tex. Because that whole lead up to that of everyone realizing it, and then he's like the guy that's in charge, he goes, I'll see you hang for this, and he goes, no you won't, but I'll see you in hell, and runs and jumps off that fucking ledge while Dustin said, yelling Geronimo, he's got to be racist on the way down. But then Achilles looks down and you see the body and a giant blood pool under the body. I don't know what that guard was doing, because that guard I felt like had a whole nother backstory we should have known, because he looks like Achilles, like, not again. You know, just this kind of weird
fuck.
Like, was I supposed to catch him? Like that
just happened. That just happened to Callie.
My bad, guys.
Yeah.
Don't even ask about North Dakota.
Like, look, I'm gonna take the L on this one, guys. I should have been standing there. We all knew this was gonna happen.
You see, like the fucking little, like the cartoon trampoline firefighter people down there.
But it was just that one, even as, because you're dealing with still the fact that he killed Sato, like, and that kill alone is also pretty shocking with Sato's death, and the fact that Tex points the gun at himself first. Like, you're right, it's me, and then he, boom, instantly.
You.
But yeah, it will be Tex's death, man. I think that's my kill of the week. So, let's do the obvious thing. Let's see how the poster sizes up.
You guys are making this too easy. You looked way tougher in your mugshots.
I'll lead this off. I never got the chance to see the cover before I watched the movie. This movie was just on with no, like, I don't know what this is other than it's giant robots fighting, because we didn't even have the guide button back then. It was just turn the channel. We still had to go look in the paper and see what was playing. So it wasn't until I went to go rent this and I saw the cover of Robot Jox, that like almost like a sun set behind him with the silhouette of the robot standing forward. The Arrow one is cheating, because this cover is gorgeous on the Blu-ray Dustin and I both have.
Is that the one with like both robots? Like you're looking at the back?
No.
Oh, okay.
You want to? All right,
that's
I'll wait.
Yeah, it's very art, like oil painting styled. Athena's on the cover with him. But I'm gonna say, yeah, the poster matches the vibe of the movie 100%, because there's a giant fucking robot in the movie. So, Mickey, what about you, brother? What do you think about the movie poster?
So, when the first poster I saw, was the first one that pops up when you Google it, and it's like the back of Alexander's Robot Jox standing and across from Achilles, and you've got like a couple of those ref ships, and like there's fire behind them. And like, hell yeah, that's totally worthy of the film. It says 2 men, 2 machines, 2 wild.
No, Mickey, you gotta say it like your movie guy voice.
2 men, 2 machines, 2 wild.
I'd watch it all over again, sir.
So that hell, dude, I love it. Like, if I were to see that, I'd be like, I'm gonna like this movie. It's totally worthy of the movie.
I say this a lot. I want this poster. Like, looking at this now, like, why don't I have a Robot Jox poster? I need
bet
it.
it's on eBay, because that's where I found the Doll Man versus Demonic Toys one.
I need this. Dustin, what do you what say you about the poster?
So, unlike Charlie, when I got my Arrow Blu-ray set, I flipped every single slipcover the other way to the original
OG.
poster. I really do not like the poster that the reimagined art that they used for this movie in this box set.
Really?
Yeah, I really like that original poster where it's just got the mech standing in front of the fucking explosion. That guy right there.
Mhm.
I really like that poster.
Mm-hmm.
And then the one Mickey pointed out, the one with the one on IMDb is the one. It's really fucking sick too.
Yeah, that's another like OG one. I don't know. I like this art style.
I don't, man. It just, to me, it doesn't feel as grimy. It feels like it's in space. You know, like that one.
This feels anime.
Yeah,
That feels
Sure.
Definitely.
very
Yeah,
anime.
I'm not a fan. Like, I guess I flipped all of my slip covers around because of all the slip covers in that box set, the OGs are they slap way harder. But yes, the original poster and this poster definitely fit the vibe of the movie. It would make me absolutely want to grab this off the shelf and watch it.
Perfect. All right. I don't see how this can go any other way. But
Okay, but are we talking Predator Arnold, Running Man Arnold, or like Batman and Robin Arnold?
All right, boys. Let's rank this bad boy. Dustin, let's start with you, brother. What are you ranking Robot Jox? Is it badass, basic, or is this a bomb?
Badass.
Bow, 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 bow.
Dude, all this movie needs, like, this has actually been an ongoing theme. Like, if the soundtrack for these movies slapped harder, like, I feel like they would just hit so much better. But regardless, like, this has everything a 11-year-old Charlie and a 21-year-old Mickey wants in a fucking robot movie, and that's just two fucking robots just duking it out. So badass, certified.
Oh, yeah.
Mickey, what are you ranking Robot Jox?
I mean, dude, it's badass, right? Like there is no other description for this movie, and again, I don't want to keep beating this dead horse, but it's just so many movies have been inspired by this. This has been inspired by so many cool, badass things. And when you put it all together, it's just amazing. We didn't even talk about like his brother and his sister with all the kids, like we're just trying to do the best for the country by having as many kids as we fucking can. Like, there was so many undertones of like serious dark shit, like crazy ass shit that we didn't even touch on, that added like depth to this world, to this story, without going like super deep into it. You could just go like, oh man, that's fucked up. Like,
there's like propaganda posters that say prenatal everywhere, with a lady with a baby in one of those like slung baby carrier things in front of her. So yeah, it's like, make babies. They're creating new people genetically. You know, this is somewhat post-apocalyptic, even
very
a little
dystopian.
bit. Like,
yeah.
I think the original trailer even says something like, this is after like a nuclear war, and this is like what's left of the worlds and the governments.
I also feel like the newscaster says that too.
I feel like it's very Again, this is a kids movie,
right?
They're not going to weigh heavy on it, but it is there.
The darkness is there to kind of like intrigue the adult mind too. Like, oh shit, I see this, I see that, and it's very cool that we're not after they had this huge war that killed way too many people and did too much damage to the human race. We're just going to have mano y mano from now on. If you got beef, like, there's not going to be any bombs dropping. There's not going to be any armies.
We can't afford the loss of life.
Yeah,
we can't afford the loss of people. People are a resource.
So your big ass robot versus our big ass robot. We'll meet you in the middle of the field Saturday morning. Get your ass out there. Get ready to rumble, baby. And it's just hype, man.
Your ticket pays for the whole seat, but you're only going to need the edge.
I love that. And one last thing, I said it before, I love Achilles. He just skirts this line of like douchebag toxic masculinity, and also kind of like, you know, he learns a lot, and he's a legit dude. Really, he's under all this pressure and has PTSD and all this shit. He's a great main character. Yeah, he's a great main character.
Yeah, I love a kill
Bad
in this.
ass. Highest order.
Charlie, what about you, man?
Yeah, is there anything higher than badass when we come into this stuff, man? I feel like we need something that's just like atomic or nuclear badass. Like this.
Coming soon.
Yeah, foreshadow. No, this movie is 1000% badass. I picked it for a reason. This is a childhood favorite. I love, even though it sucked, I couldn't own the movie. I love that there was so much love for it that people were begging for this to come out. People bought it immediately. It warranted a reprint from a whole nother company. And as a matter of fact, it may have only, dropped some of those prices from Shout Factory a little bit, but you got those completionists that price is still probably north of $50. And heaven forbid if it actually had a slipcover. The slipcover alone would probably be worth the same as the Blu-ray.
I'm gonna look at the eBay real quick and see what
But
Jox VHS.
This movie is 1000% badass. I have loved it since that day we got HBO, and it was like 5 minutes into the movie, and you couldn't have moved me. The house could have fell down around me as long as that cable was still hooked up. I'd have still been sitting there watching Robot Jox. And, and it was a movie that my dad enjoyed, and he's like, that was actually really good. Let's go rent it, make sure we didn't miss anything important. And I know I rented this multiple times. I don't know how much more I can gush about this movie. I feel like, we didn't cover some of the minutia of this, which is awesome. If you've never seen it, we have, other than, the big robot stuff, we haven't spoiled really anything else about the movie. There's still a lot that's cool in this and a lot of story and, a good, it's well paced. Like, God, this thing's only like 90 minutes, somewhere around there. Like it flies by. I watched it again just before we started recording, just because I had an hour and a half. I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna throw Robot Jox on again, and just keep watching it, man. It's just so much fun, and it perfectly personifies me, man. This is the kind of movies that shaped me for what I love going forward. It just didn't happen to be anime. I don't know how I missed the boat on that one, but there we go. What'd you find, Dustin?
Shout Factory has it on eBay for $44.99 on Blu-ray.
I kind of what I figured it would drop down to. Yeah.
The VHS is
$1 million.
Probably
$14.95.
Shut up! It dropped that much.
$35. $12.99. $15.
Are these all
24? I'm about to grab one.
Are
of
these
these
all
VHS.
bids or like flat price?
No, these are all buy now plus shipping.
Okay.
Hey Dustin, won't you add quantity 3 and we will PayPal you some money? Because I mean, we're not lying. Originally, before the reprint from Arrow, this was
150 plus.
This because I remember it was this one and Split Second on VHS and even on the original DVD. It was like $100 movie with Rutger Hauer, because when the DVD came out, they did so few prints, it just disappeared. No one bought them. And so it was like $100 movie for the longest time. Now it's like on Prime and Tubi and all this stuff. That's the only downside to streaming. Sometimes it does devalue these things, but guess what? Now I can own Robot Jox for a lot less money. Get 3 for the price of 1.
Yeah, I'm probably going to scoop up one of these.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was my birthday, boys. Next month, this is my only refuge for the entire month from getting away from Pete Month on our main channel. I still have my B Action Brothers.
Anna sent me that clip.
Oh, the video I asked her to make?
Yeah.
It's coming. But yeah, Dustin, why don't you tell everybody what we're doing next month on B Action?
So next month on B Action, it's the buffer month between Charlie's birthday and my birthday. Ooh. So what we did is Charlie picked one, and then we all picked one. And the one Charlie picked is a Dudikoff movie. Finally coming on the show, right? It's the first time.
I think so.
Yeah. Is that the one we're doing next? I thought Beowulf.
I don't know which one's next. I was just going to say both. Yeah. All right, so American Ninja is one of the movies for next month. And then the consensus pick has Christopher Lambert coming back to the show
Movie fucking rocks.
with 19. Oh my God, dude. I watched the trailer for it. I am ready. I am so fucking ready. But it is 1999's Beowulf with Christopher Lambert. Dude.
Classic. I love it.
Blonde-haired Christopher
Oh,
Lambert.
dude. I don't know which one's coming first, but I don't care. So,
I'm pretty sure we're doing.
I think it's
Beowulf.
Charlie. I think it's Charlie that's coming first.
Yeah, too late. I already filled the cup, sir.
God damn it, dude. But yeah, next month is pretty stacked, and then March is birthday month for Dustin, and I got to pick both movies. So
Yes, and then we
Pretty
get a
good time.
buffer, and then it's somehow all our birthdays are like alternating months at
Yeah.
the beginning of the year. So Mickey will get one here pretty soon. So it's working out good. But yeah, this is going to be the only time I can get away from everything that is Pete. Although I do know what the very first Pete pick movie is. Let's see, when does our episode come out? Fuck it, close enough. We're actually going to do one that I am looking forward to watching, and honestly, very well could have been on our show. We are doing Hard Ticket to Hawaii. Is going to be the very first.
what?
Sick.
Yeah, that is the Best of B action movies.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And the best part was Pete was like rattling off in the group chat about, oh, you're never going to guess the movie. You're never going to do this. And I threw like one Hail Mary, and he's like, nope, try again. And I went, Hard Ticket to Hawaii. And he just, you always know, he's like, well, you'll have to
Stop
wait till
fucking-
the next Monday to find out. I was like, I know it. It's like, just tell me that was it and just be done with it. And here's the beauty part, gentlemen. Pete thinks I guessed it. Pete has forgotten that about 2 months ago, he messaged me saying, hey, you guys at B Action are taking some pretty badass action movies that I would love to watch. And I want to make sure you don't take this one, but please don't cover Hard Ticket to Hawaii. And he forgets he told me 2 months ago. And now I have this whole thing where I haven't told him I know that way yet till we do the episode.
Now, was that Pete or Bleat?
That's a very good question. And that could, it depends on the time of night and what day it is. That's you never know who you're going to get in the group. If he is in one group chat and he only stays in one, that's usually Pete. If it's Bleat, he's in every group chat we have, from Instagram to Facebook to Slack. He will carry a conversation throughout 3 different group chats. And only people following it are me, Nate, and Anna. Everyone else is like, what is he talking about? I'm like, you had to be here in the other chat we have with him. And he forgets where he is, and he opens another chat and continues the same conversation. We love our Bleat. Mickey, what you got going on for February at the Nerd Initiative?
Man, we haven't really nailed down any subjects for Play for Keeps, but every Monday night at 8 o'clock, check us out if you're into toys and collectibles. And again, every Wednesday we've got like 30 plus reviews on our website for comic books. Sorry. And yeah. Also, I'm doing a little thing for Extra Life with the Mortalverse, which is a YouTube channel that does like DC properties and stuff. We're going to improv Injustice Gods Among Us, and I'll be doing The Flash and Ares. So
There you go. Hell yeah.
it's going to be a lot of fun. We're actually going to record that like tomorrow night, but it's going to be a while before it drops. So
Right.
keep an eye out.
Oh, looking forward to that. Awesome. Dustin, what letter of the alphabet are we going to be at in February?
So we are back with our AB season. And yeah, dude, it took me all day yesterday to think of that. And we have already, by the time this episode comes out, we have already covered A and B. So we should be on C. I'm not going to say what movie it is, but I will tell you that we have Josh and Bridget coming from the Evil Deaths podcast.
Very nice.
Coming over to talk about this movie. And all I will leave you with is we are feeling the rhythm. And we're feeling the rhyme.
Should we
Are
get
you
on
dead?
up?
Are you dead yet?
That's all I'm going to say.
I gotta pee.
Too late. I already did.
Too late. Already did.
And over on the Baron's Hideout, it's Bloody Valentine's Month. So the bloodier the movie, the bloodier, the better it's going to be. So
awesome.
We have quite a few movies lined up, and I'm pretty stoked because one of them, Anna, hates the actor, and she hasn't seen the movie.
Oh.
I know. I can't wait to hear what she says.
Oh,
and yes,
man.
you may have heard it earlier, but you should, if you're not listening to Barons, you should be. But also, we end out their January with their full moon month with a little movie called Robot Wars, also done by Full Moon after Robot Jox. Yours truly will be there. We'll find out if we had a good time or not. We're not there yet.
Yeah, I don't know yet.
Yeah. Just remember, you can always come back and listen to our Robot Jox episode.
That's right.
There it
if you
is.
really want to hear the good robot movie.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that pretty much does it for us. We will be back in 2 weeks. Dustin, what do you say?
I say crash and... I mean, don't just watch action.
Be action.
Mission accomplished.